broadcasting live here on Rainier Avenue Radio. It is your host, Queen Bri. I am back. I know, Daniel, I kept pushing unmute, and every time I went to speak, I would look and muted was me back there. Are you messing with me in the background, or is it just me? Anyways, your girl is back. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and I'm excited to be back here. We'll start off with our land acknowledgement. Daniel, can you hear me now? Because I know you're muted after I hit mute 1,000 times. I don't know what was going on. I think it's just, the going on a mini vacation and then you come dragging yourself back in and you just got to get back to reality. And that is what was happening. So let's get back into the juju of Clean Greens Living. Welcome, everyone. You are watching Clean Greens Living, broadcasted here live on Rainier Avenue Radio. I am your host, Queen Bri. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here in Seattle. I got my cute little yellow sundress and my little sunflower earrings on because the sun is sunning, and I am no longer waiting for these special moments to get cute, get dressed up. Let's start with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish, past and present. And we honor with gratitude the land itself, the Duwamish, Suquamish, Nisqually, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot tribes. We also acknowledge what has happened on this land to impact the lives of our Black community in Seattle due to redlining. The systematic and oppressive mechanisms of anti Black racism enacted by white leaders and politicians and business people that has robbed families of the opportunity to build and pass down generational wealth. To share your story of your home or land loss in the central area of Seattle, please contact www.blackdollardays.taskforce.org and share your story with us. Black Dollar Days is working along, I think, with Rainier Avenue Radio. Am I correct, Daniel? About reparations in our central district for families who were affected and had to sell their homes due to redlining. Um, all right, it is time for our announcement. Y'all, summer is almost here. It is June 6th. The kids are counting down. I hear they say they have 19 days left for school. Have you guys gotten your kids enrolled in any summer programs? Have you even thought about enrolling your kids in the Clean Greens Farm Market Garden? We only do 1 day a week. Commit yourself to 1 day a week of bringing your kids to hang with us, which will be Saturdays. We'll be in their specific Amy Yee garden, which will be called the Clean Greens Youth Farm. They named themselves last year the Rainbow Youth Farm. I almost forgot that. So they'll be working out their own Rainbow Youth Farm. I think this is so cool. And as we were talking and we were building up the farm, Paris was like, you guys can actually call this an urban farm. This isn't a garden. So the kids have their own farm. And yes, it'll be open to community to come in and help and assist, come in and eat the food the kids are growing. But this farm is going to be dedicated to and for our children. So please, if you have children ages 5 to 18, please connect with me and let me know you want to sign your kids up. They get a biweekly stipend of $50. You get paid when you come and do the garden work. You don't get paid if you're not there, but you get paid if you come and do the garden work. You just sign up. You don't have to be there for every Saturday session. We do advise that they be there so they can learn. The point of the program is to learn how to grow your own food, the importance of growing your own food, how to build community. Why does eating organic, how does it affect your body versus eating non-organic and eating food like my kids act like I be abusing them sometimes where I rather cook home cooked meals instead of taking them to McDonald's. So it's just talking about why it's important to eat home cooked meals, why it's important to eat fresh and organic. I know for myself, my kids eat better when they are out in the garden and growing the produce themselves than when they're not. So it is helpful. The kids do love it. They do have a good time. So please contact me if you want to sign your kids up for our youth farm. And speaking of Amy Yee, our grand opening is coming up. Y'all, it is about to be farm season already. We are starting our CSAs later on this month, but our grand opening is July 1st at the Amy Yee Garden Center. What a way to open up the season and bless the space with our presence, to learn about the youth garden, to send our youth off with a community full of people that are here to support them. So save your dates, July 1st, 11 a.m. We will be kicking off our grand season opening at our Amy Yee Youth Garden. Again, July 1st. Now, June 24th will be the first day for our CSAs. I am so excited. You guys have no idea how excited I am to start eating off the farm again. Our plan this year, you guys be sending us good juju and well wishes and prayers. I believe in the power of prayer. We want to go the whole year this time, because we be missing our own produce when we're not in season. But the farm is looking good. The produce is going good. Tom says we are on target. A huge shout out to the Cascadia crew. They have been with us for a while now. Every year, a couple of times a year, they'll come out on the farm. They will help us out. We covered a lot of grounds this Saturday, planting produce, weeding, setting up our greenhouse. You guys rock, and we are so thankful for you. We are excited. If you have not signed up for a CSA yet, it is time to do that. Come on, we are almost here. We are almost in season. Don't wait. Look, don't be tardy for the party. You're a little bit almost tardy for the party because CSA opens up started a while ago. But we've been rocking. So thank you, those who have signed up. But we do have a few more shares. I want to thank my buddy Sarah. I have been in this leadership program, and I have a buddy, Sarah, who is like a guardian angel. And she heard all the good things going on with Clean Greens and all the work we've been doing. And so she has been spearheading a fundraiser on her own for people to donate to Clean Greens and be able to give 2 shares to a family in need. So if you are a family, if you're a large family, a family between 3 to 6 people, connect with us. Or a family between 2 and 4 people, connect with us, because we got some donations coming in for you. But actually, I was wrong there, because we have buy a CSA, feed a family. So we actually have more shares. So if you are a family in need and can't afford these expensive produce at the store right now, I told the kids the other day, inflation is killing us. Inflation is killing us. Organic produce is expensive, but it is important to feed your body fresh organic as much as possible. So if you are a family in need and cannot afford fresh organic produce, please connect with me so we can get you signed up so you can just come and pick up your share. One of the things I love about Clean Greens, I've been working with low income families for years. Heck, living in Seattle, I be borderline low income family. But what I love about Clean Greens is that we do not make it hard for families who are in need, because we know that working class people sometimes fall short in being able to provide for their family as well, because they're paying these bills. So we do not make it hard where you got to file all these paperwork and prove all of this stuff. Just if you are in need, please do not hesitate. Come reach out to us and get your fresh organic produce. All right. So listen, y'all, it's been 2 weeks. It feels like that 2 weeks went by fast with me not being here. Is anybody listening? Did you miss us? Did you miss fresh episodes of Clean Greens? I kind of did, but sis needed a break, a mental, physical, everything break. We are in gear for our grand
Shoot.
opening. Exactly. We are in gear for our grand opening. I'm helping out with Rainier Avenue Radio. They got Make Music Day coming up. I'm super excited about that. June 1st is not June 1st, June 21st is Make Music Day. We'll be out on the pier. There'll be music. We'll be out on the pier from noon to 6, and then we'll be at Columbia City from what is it, Daniel? I forgot the times. Is it 4 to 10? 4 to 10, right? This year I'm bringing my suntan because this black girl got sunburned last year on the pier. I could still feel it, y'all. I was like, what is happening? What is going on? So yes, please be ready to join us on the longest day of the year, June 21st, down at the pier. But anyways, so your girl been busy helping plan this grand opening, helping plan can't even think. I probably should have took 3 weeks. Helping plan Make Music Day. And we also at our church did a women's conference. So I needed that break. And I just want to remind everybody it is important to take breaks, know your body, listen to your body, learn to relax, learn to live, and have fun. Someone asked me how my day was. I said, you know what? It's a beautiful day. I woke up, the sun was shining. It felt good. I put on my nice little dress and I was like, I'm just about to take this one moment at a time. I don't know for those of you, oh, if you're just tuning in, you're tuning in to Clean Greens Living live broadcasted here on Rainier Avenue Radio. I am your host, Queen Bri, and I have just been catching people up. Hi, Janet. I have been catching people up on all things Clean Greens. And just the little break I took, and here I am back, trying to get back to these show working back. Actually it's fun, but it's still work. So getting back to these working blues where you are ready to roll. Um, we've been working with South Shore. I don't know if I told you guys this. We've been working with South Shore Elementary School. So for those of you who don't know, South Shore is K-8. We've been working with the K through second, and then actually the seventh graders have a couple of hours with us too. That's just us just hanging out with them. Um, and I wanted to talk to people because we are looking at the kids um, with South Shore. We are teaching them about gardening, the same things we do with our youth program. Gardening. Thank you. Thank you. We've been teaching about gardening. How to grow their own food and all the importance. And so yesterday I hadn't been there because I've been doing paperwork. I went to go recap with them and see what they were learning. And they took me to look at their produce and what was growing on there. And some of them were sad because some of their produce wasn't growing. And that made me remember to talk to everyone about what does that look like when your produce isn't growing. Some of it, I mean, they planted one, I want to say 2 weeks ago, and their little leaves are looking so cute and they were so excited and proud of themselves. But for the ones whose produce wasn't growing, we just have to talk about what may be stopping your produce from growing and what we can do to make your produce grow. And also, I had to let them know, sometimes how when your friends don't grow, but you're growing, or your friends are growing and you're not, but then you shoot up and you catch up to them. Sometimes that's just what happens with the produce. But Ted, let's take a little moment to discuss because I know that some of us have been talking about, I'm not going to lie, in this moment of accountability, I haven't even had the time to start my own in-home garden. So I've been trying to do as much as I can on Amy Yee. I want my dream, my goal is to start my own at-home garden. Um, but some of us have been growing at home. I'm lucky enough to still be able to grow at each community center and help out on the farm. So we have been going over the past couple of weeks about some of the things for those who are not experts, who don't know. Those of you who are experts and you see us leaving stuff out, please feel free to let us know what we're leaving out and what we should mention as people are talking about growing their own at-home gardens. So we first talked about knowing if you're going to be gardening against the first last frost. Is it, what is it? I always confuse myself with this because it's the last frost. The last frost is in spring. The first frost is in the fall. So are you going against the first frost or are you going against the moon? And we have been talking about how the moon affects the shift of the earth, and that makes your soil a little bit more moist. So which are you going by, the first frost, I mean the last frost, or the moon? So we talked about those two things. We've talked about the importance of composting. What goes in compost, what does not go in compost. What else have we talked about? Have we talked about weeding? We talked about noxious weed. We had a special guest on a couple of weeks ago talking about noxious weeds and weeds, making sure that you're clearing out your weeds, because sometimes weeds can take up the nutrients of your produce, and you want to make sure they're not strangling your produce. But remembering that some weeds are actually good and beneficial for you. So make sure when you're pulling the weeds, you're looking it up. Like dandelions is good for you. I don't have the health benefits right now, but next week I'll bring them for you. So remembering that, and now we're talking about soil. Like, how do you know what's going on with with your produce? Why is it growing? Why is it not growing? Some of the things that you may want to take a look at when you're looking at some of your leaves growing or not growing is lighting, heat, water, humidity, and nutrition. You want to make sure that you're taking care of all of that, because yes, your plants need lighting, but some plants doesn't need as much lighting. So check your lighting. Make sure that your lighting is on some of the produce when you're starting your garden. If you look on the back of those packets, it'll tell you the amount of lighting. Like, does it grow in good lighting? Like, do you have to have a well lit? Like me, I'm learning to be a plant mom. I thought I was getting some low key plants, but these plants are just as needy as I am. Okay. I mean, it needs sunlight. I thought I was getting plants that didn't need much light. I like it hot. My plants do not. So it's like making sure your lighting is good, looking on the packet, making sure it's telling you what kind of lighting, and if it needs humidity or if it doesn't, is your plants getting enough air? You really want to check your soil. We talk about soil nutrients, your compost, your soil is really important for when your plants are growing, because they are giving your plants nutrients. So if you know your soil is good because it's a little bit darker than normal soil and it's crumbly. You know how you'll wet soil and it'll turn to mud, but your good soil will be crumbly. It'll be like a little thick, but it'll be crumbly and it'll be dark. And then another way you know that that soil is good is look, I'm already stressing myself. I don't want to say, but you know what? Even if Daniel pops that up on the screen, I can handle a worm. Okay. The underground activity. A lot of the kids be screaming and yelling when we're out at the garden because they see spiders, they see worms, they see roly polies in there, they see all kind of insects and activities in the soil. That is how you know your soil is good. You don't want to run from those things. You don't want to kill it. I am not a spider person. I'm not a bug person at all. Like, I can look at certain bugs, but I'm not the type of person that I want to go and explore them. But when I'm in the garden, this is their area, and I respect it because they are playing a part in our produce growing huge. So I have to tell the kids, don't kill them, leave them be. I know they like playing with the roly polies. Fun fact, I even found out roly polies, what they play a part in eating the decompost. I'm saying the word wrong, but y'all know what I mean. The roly polies eat the dead leaves and all that stuff in your garden, so they kind of help you maintain your garden. So don't kill the bugs. You know your soil is good when the bug activity is popping. I don't know if you guys remember when we were doing Amy Yee, we had that big fat worm in our soil. Um, that let us know that our soil is good. And by the way, you guys, if you haven't had a chance to stop by Amy Yee, it's still a work in progress. We like to say we're still in phase one of building the farm. Um, but the produce that we grew on Earth Day is growing out really pretty, and it's doing really well for us to be in Seattle. And there's like thousands of rabbits running around right now. But the produce is going well. I can't wait to see what's out there. Um, Yeah, so making sure that your soil is good, making sure that you are checking the lighting and adjusting as need be. Sometimes you may need to shift your planters, and if your planters are too firm and where they're at, maybe getting a cover, like you know how they you see driving down the street, there's little greenhouse hoop houses on people's planters. Just putting something over it to protect it and make sure it's getting the right amount of lighting. Making sure you water your produce. One thing we noticed last year when we started out at South Shore, we thought we were watering our produce and we thought we were watering it well. And then Tom came and he said, you guys need more water. So as we were looking, he took his finger, and you got to do this, take your finger and just, after you water, take your finger and dig in your soil. And we dug in the soil, and yes, it was wet at the top and it was really moist at the top. But once we dug our finger in the soil, we recognized that we needed to water more. If you're making sure you're watering more, you're making sure your plants get the hydration it needs to thrive. So make sure you do a little finger check when you're growing your produce and getting that water in there. It is starting to be beautiful sunny days more than it is rainy days. So you want to make sure that you get some kind of watering system in your garden, or that you're making sure that if you're doing it manually, that you're watering it well. One of the things that we have gotten for AME is a water system, but you can also, if your garden isn't that big, just get a hose with a sprinkler system and just let it run for a little bit and make sure that your produce is getting what it needs. But again, check the packets when you're growing your produce. It will tell you how much water your produce needs or how little your produce needs. You don't want to overwater or underwater your produce. It's a craft. Look, it's a science. I'm learning science. I used to not be into this stuff as a kid, but now all of a sudden here I am. You guys are gonna be calling me I'll say brain. You remember Pinky and the Brain? I'll be brain of the garden. Heat, making sure that the plants that need heat is getting heat, and the plants that are not getting heat is in a shaded area. Now, again, you did not change my name that fast, Daniel. Brain of the garden. Yes. That's what I'm gonna start calling myself. Brain of the garden. Um, even me as being a plant mom, I have these plants and I thought, oh, it needs a lot of sun. So I put my plants out in the sun directly, and oh my God, they burnt my babies, but they survived. But I learned it just needs lighting, not actual sun, because sometimes you can burn your produce, which is funny. I seen this meme that says plants and trees deal with whatever Mother Nature gives them. But as soon as you take them home to take care of them, all of a sudden they're so needy for things. But this is true. Make sure you're not giving your produce too much heat or too much lighting. It's a science to this. Don't give up. You guys have this. I know for me with my plants, at one point it looked like they were dying. It looked like I was about to have to go dig a little ditch and do a proper burial, but I kept going. I learned my plants, and you need to keep going and learning your garden, importantly your soil, looking back on those packets and making sure that you're reading the instructions and reading books. Reading books. You have to educate yourself on all of this. You can't just, I mean, you can, it'll just be a little harder, but why make it harder when people are already writing and reading about this? Go and learn. My plants are now thriving, and I've seen a little life at the root of my plant. So I'm so excited. Yay, me, my plants are surviving. And your garden will survive too, and your plants will grow too. Just make sure you are checking the lighting, the heat, the water, humidity, and the nutrition, and you'll be fine. And remember, July 1st is our season grand opening in our Amy Yee Youth Garden. Our youth garden program is open for registry. We only got about 5 people left. So if you guys have no 5 people, send 5 people. to sign up for our youth program. We would love to have them. I'll see you later. Bye.